Welcome back. Hope everyone's doing good, doing the best they can. In this video, I heard of girls doing this. I don't know why. I've heard wives doing this, and I've heard it backfiring, where the boyfriend gets angry and they break up with the girlfriend who did this. I heard of some men who are married, divorcing their wives who did this. My girlfriend's single friends persuaded her to stage a fake breakup test on me to ... These women, I don't know. Nothing surprises me anymore. It makes me angry, sad, afraid for our future. Let's get into this.
My girlfriend's single friends persuaded her to stage a fake breakup test on me to make me more committed, but it completely backfired when I decided to end our relationship instead. I'm 31 years old and have been with my girlfriend Maya for 4 years. We've been living together for the past year and
This is from Reddit. And it's obviously AI reading the story. I can't watch the screen because the screen is just like someone playing a video game, jumping up and down. It's making me dizzy. I'm gonna have to look away or something.
Maya for 4 years. We've been living together for the past year and I genuinely thought we were building something solid together. We split bills, take turns cooking, and have established this comfortable routine that works for both of us. Sure, we're not teenagers anymore writing love letters every day, but I considered us a stable, mature couple heading toward marriage eventually. What I didn't know is that Maya had been confiding in her circle of single girlfriends about feeling like our relationship lacked excitement. These friends, all recently out of long-term relationships themselves, apparently convinced her that I was getting too comfortable and that she needed to create some drama to reignite the spark between us. About 2 months ago, Maya started acting completely out of character. She began mentioning how she wasn't sure if she was ready for such a serious commitment and questioning whether we were moving too fast by living together. At first, I thought she was just having normal relationship anxiety, so I tried to be understanding and give her space to work through her feelings. But then she started talking about wanting to take a break from our relationship to figure things out. She said she'd been thinking about what she really wanted in life and wasn't sure if settling down at 28 was the right choice for her. She mentioned wanting to travel more.
28? I was gonna pause the video and say, any girlfriend who says we need a break, you say, okay, we're breaking up. So when a girl says that we need a break, that means that she wants to go and have sex with other guys, or there's a certain guy that she likes who met from work or somewhere. Never stay with a girl who says we need a break. Especially, but this girl said she didn't know if she was ready for a commitment at only 28. Only 28. So yeah, guys, if your girlfriend ever says we need a break, you break up with her. Seriously, you ask any guy, or ask any woman who says, yeah, a break, that means that she wants to hook up with other guys, or there's a certain guy that she's hooking up with or wants to hook up with.
Or experience being single again and not feeling ready for the domestic life we built together. I was devastated but tried to be supportive. I told her I understood if she needed time and that I'd rather she be honest about her feelings than stay in a relationship she wasn't sure about. I suggested we could talk to a counselor or take things slower, but she insisted that what she needed was actual time apart to gain perspective on what she wanted. Dur-
And if you mention getting counseling, like he said he did, and she says no, she just needs a break, that's even more of a red flag. That's a huge red flag. It's not just a little red flag, that's a huge red flag. How do you mend things or fix things in relationships that feel broken? You go, like, it's like breaking your leg, and instead of going to like a hospital or a doctor, you just say no, it'll heal on its own. I just need time. I just need time. I just need a break. Oh my gosh.
During this conversation, she was crying and saying how much she cared about me, but that she'd been feeling trapped lately and needed to remember what it felt like to be independent. She talked about possibly getting her own apartment and suggested we take a month-long break from seeing each other to really think about whether we wanted the same things. She even went into specific details about how she'd been feeling suffocated by our daily routines and how she missed the excitement of not knowing what each day would bring. Maya said she loved me but wasn't sure if she was in love with me anymore, which absolutely crushed me. She mentioned that her friends had been telling her that she was too young to settle down and that she should experience more of life before committing to marriage.
She's 28!
I spent the next 3 weeks in complete emotional turmoil. I started looking at smaller apartments since our current lease was in both our names and I figured I'd need to move out. I had to tell my family that Maya and I were taking a break, which was humiliating because they'd already started asking about when we might get engaged. My mom was especially concerned and kept calling to check on me because she could hear how devastated I was. My sister offered to let me stay at her place if I needed somewhere to go, and my dad...
This guy's an idiot, but I feel bad for him.
Dad awkwardly tried to give me advice about how sometimes relationships just run their course. The whole experience was mortifying because I'd been so confident about our future together that I'd already started researching engagement rings. The worst part was how Maya seemed to be thriving during this supposed crisis period. She was going out constantly with her friends, posting pictures of herself at bars and restaurants I'd never been to, and generally appearing to live her best single life. Meanwhile, I was barely eating and couldn't concentrate at work because I kept wondering if the woman I'd planned to propose to next year was about to disappear from my life forever.
Mind you, that we know that this was just, this is a fake, one of those fake breakup tests. My girlfriend's single friends, you gotta watch out for your girlfriend's friends. There's so many friends, female friends, that are just so shady. Watch how your girlfriend's friends act. My girlfriend's single friends persuaded her to stage a fake breakup test on me. So we know this is just a fake breakup thing, but if he doesn't know that yet, everything, if any of these signs are happening, break up with her. Please, for the love of God. She doesn't love you, or at least doesn't love you anymore. When a girl says she needs a break and she doesn't want to go counseling, you need to break up with her. Any therapist would tell you that. Any relationship expert would tell you that. But not all this stuff. She's living her best life. She's happy, posting pics on Instagram, on social media or whatever.
Started losing weight because I had no appetite, and my coworkers noticed that I seemed distracted and moody all the time.
He's
My boss
going
even
through
pulled me
hell.
aside to ask if everything was okay at home because my performance had noticeably declined. I felt like I was walking around in a fog, unable to focus on anything except the possibility that my relationship was ending. Maya would text me occasionally during this break, sending mixed signals about missing me but also talking about how refreshing it felt to have freedom again. She'd say things like, I'm starting to remember who I am outside of a relationship and maybe we both needed this space to appreciate what we have. These messages would give me hope for a few hours, but then she'd post another picture of herself out having fun and I'd spiral back into despair. I found myself obsessively checking her social media accounts, analyzing every photo and caption for clues about her emotional state. When she posted a picture of herself laughing with friends at some trendy restaurant, I'd spend hours wondering if she was happier without me. When she shared a quote about independence and self-discovery, I'd interpret it as confirmation that she...
I just thought, what if this guy killed himself? Because there are men that commit suicide over heartbreak. This guy said he lost a lot of weight. He's been in anguish, having trouble sleeping, like in a fog. I've been heartbroken and I've been there. Every single minute of every single hour of every single day of every single week of every single month is hell. But what if this guy killed himself? We know this is a fake breakup test. This guy thinks this is all real. He's an idiot because he should have broke up with her as soon as she said we need a break and rejected counseling. Well, I feel bad for him because what he's saying is just, I have a heart.
He was planning to end things permanently. After about 3 weeks of this torture, I'd made peace with the idea that our relationship was probably over. I'd even started browsing dating apps, not because I was ready to meet someone new, but because I was trying to prepare myself for the reality of being single again at 31. Then Maya's friend Jessica called me out of nowhere, completely intoxicated, rambling about how proud she was of Maya for finally taking control of her relationship and how the plan was working perfectly because I was finally showing how much I actually cared. I had no idea what she was talking about, so I pressed her for details. That's when Jessica revealed that the entire breakup scare was fabricated. Maya's friend group had convinced her that the best way to get me to step up and propose was to make me think I might lose her. They'd coached her on what to say to make it seem like she was having genuine doubts about our future together. According to Jessica, they'd been planning this relationship intervention for months after Maya complained to them that I seemed too comfortable and wasn't making any moves toward engagement. Her friends convinced her that men need to be reminded of what they could lose in order to take action, so they helped her craft this entire scenario about needing space and questioning our relationship. Jessica drunkenly admitted that they'd been monitoring my social media to see how I was reacting and celebrating every sign that I was becoming more desperate to win Maya back. They thought it was hilarious that I'd started sending flowers to Maya's workplace and planning elaborate date nights to try to convince her not to leave me. I hung up on
Oh my gosh.
that they'd been monitoring my social media to see how I was reacting and celebrating every sign that I was becoming more desperate to win Maya back. They thought it was hilarious that I'd started sending flowers to Maya's workplace and planning elaborate date nights to try to convince her not to leave me. I hung up on Jessica and sat in my car for an hour, trying to process what I'd just learned. When Maya came home that evening, I confronted her with what Jessica had told me. She immediately broke down crying and admitted everything. She said it had started as a simple plan to motivate me toward engagement, but it had spiraled into something much bigger than she intended. Maya explained that her friends had convinced her that our relationship was in a rut and that I was taking her for granted. They told her that comfortable relationships often lead to men never proposing because they're getting all the benefits of marriage without the commitment. The fake breakup was supposed to create urgency and make me realize I needed to act before I lost her. She apologized profusely and said she never meant for it to go on so long or cause me so much pain. She claimed she'd been planning to end the charade soon and that she was actually ready to get back together because the break had made her realize how much she loved me and wanted to be with me. But I was absolutely furious. I told her that instead of manipulating me into proposing, she'd actually accomplished the opposite. I couldn't believe that someone who claimed to love me would put me through weeks of emotional agony just to test my commitment level. If she wanted to get engaged, she could have simply talked to me about it instead of creating an elaborate deception. The more I thought about it, the more betrayed I felt. I realized that every conversation we had during those 3 weeks had been based on lies. When she cried about feeling trapped, she was acting. When she talked about needing space, she was following a script. When she'd said she wasn't sure if she was in love with me anymore, she was deliberately trying to hurt me to get the reaction her friends wanted. I thought about all the sleepless nights I'd spent wondering what I'd done wrong in our relationship, all the self-doubt I'd experienced about whether I was good enough for her, all the anxiety I'd felt about our future together. She'd watched me go through all of that emotional turmoil while knowing it was completely manufactured for her entertainment and that of her friends. Maya kept insisting that her friends had convinced her it was the only way to get through to me and that she'd been wrong to listen to them. She begged me to understand that everything she'd done was because she loved me and wanted us to have a future together. She said the plan had backfired because she'd realized during our fake break that she didn't actually want space at all. She even tried to turn the situation around on me, saying that if I really loved her, I'd be able to forgive one mistake and that my willingness to throw away 4 years over this proved that maybe I wasn't as committed as I claimed to be.
That's what women do. They turn it around. I was waiting to hear it. I was waiting to hear it. I was waiting to hear it. Did you hear it? Let me go back.
She didn't actually want space at all. She even tried to turn the situation around on me, saying that if I really loved her, I'd be able to forgive one mistake and that my willingness to throw away 4 years over this proved that maybe I wasn't as committed as I claimed to be. This manipulation attempt only made me angrier because it showed she still didn't understand the fundamental problem with what she'd done. I told her that the trust between us was completely broken and that I couldn't imagine marrying someone who thought emotional manipulation was an appropriate relationship strategy. She'd spent weeks watching me suffer and worry about our future while knowing the entire crisis was manufactured. That level of deception wasn't something I could just forgive and move past. Maya promised she'd never listen to her friends again and suggested we go to couples counseling to work through the trust issues. But I'd already made up my mind. I told her that I was done with the relationship and that she'd gotten her wish for space, just not in the way she planned. Over the next few days, Maya's friends started calling me to defend their actions and convince me to forgive Maya. Rachel insisted that they'd only been trying to help Maya get what she wanted and that their plan had actually worked because I'd shown how much I cared. Sophia told me I was being unreasonable and that Maya had learned her lesson about listening to bad advice. But their phone calls only made things worse because they revealed more details about how calculated the entire scheme had been. Rachel mentioned that they'd been planning this intervention for months and had researched different strategies online before settling on the fake breakup approach. Sophia admitted that they'd been keeping a timeline of my reactions and adjusting Maya's behavior based on how I responded to different triggers. The most disturbing revelation came from Jessica, who called to apologize but ended up making things worse by explaining how much thought they'd put into psychological manipulation. She said they'd studied articles about attachment theory and relationship psychology to make their plan more effective. They'd specifically chosen the timing of Maya's supposed crisis to coincide with the stress of our lease renewal because they thought it would make me more desperate to resolve things quickly. But the more I thought about it, the angrier I became.
This guy could have killed himself.
And had encouraged Maya to deceive me for months.
He could
they
have
turned our relationship into an experiment and had been entertained.
He could have had a breakdown.
The person I wanted to marry. I also started realizing that this probably wasn't the first time Maya had been manipulative in our relationship. Looking back, I could identify other instances where she'd used emotional manipulation to get what she wanted, but I'd always rationalized them as normal relationship dynamics. The fake breakup was just the most extreme example of a pattern I've been too blind to see.
Watch your girlfriend's friends, how they act around her. If your girlfriend starts to act different, I always hear about girlfriend's friends and how you have to be careful because there's a lot of them that are petty and jealous or have anger issues with men, and they'll try and destroy one of their friends' relationships because they're jealous. You need to just keep an eye on how your girlfriend acts. This is
I moved
sick.
out of our shared apartment within a week.
This is sick.
Maya continued texting and calling, begging for another chance and promising that she'd do anything to rebuild my trust.
Get the hell out of here.
She said she understood why I was angry, but that ending a 4-year relationship over one mistake seemed extreme. The moving process was emotionally brutal because every item I packed reminded me of our shared history and the future I thought we were building together. I had to divide up furniture we bought together, books we'd share, and kitchen items we'd accumulated over the years. Maya tried to use this as another opportunity to convince me to stay, pointing out how much we'd built together and how difficult it would be to start over. She also tried a different approach, suggesting that we could use this experience to make our relationship stronger. She said that now that we'd been through a major crisis, we'd be better equipped to handle future challenges and that our trust could be rebuilt stronger than before.
Something you could tell your
She even
grandkids.
suggested that the fake breakup had revealed how much we really meant to each other, since I'd fought so hard to save our relationship. But every conversation with Maya just reinforced my decision to leave. She kept trying to minimize what she'd done by calling it a mistake or a lapse in judgment, but I saw it as a fundamental betrayal that revealed her.
That's another thing. It's like, not all, again, 80%. 80% of women out there, they don't think that big things that they do are big. They think they're like small or like minor. Like, I just shot you in the leg. I mean, what? Why am I getting arrested? All I did was pull out my 9 and shoot her in the leg. What's the big deal? Like, come on. These cuffs. Can you put them on tighter? Oh, they don't. I've heard this about Generation Z. It's like they don't take things seriously. Like, everything is just minor to them. Like, things they do that are big. It's like something you see out of a movie or TV show. Something's burning on the stove, and it's like someone's just on the phone, and an adult comes in. It's overflowing a little bit. What's the big deal? It's nothing major. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Oh, Cindy. Oh, no way.
Her true character. The fact that she'd been able to maintain the deception for weeks while watching me suffer showed a level of emotional detachment that I found deeply disturbing. The problem is that I don't see it as one mistake. I see it as a fundamental character flaw that allowed her to deceive someone she claimed to love for the sake of manipulating them into a proposal. The fact that she thought this was an acceptable way to handle relationship concerns tells me everything I need to know about her judgment and values. I also couldn't stop thinking about what other deceptions she might be capable of in the future. If she could orchestrate such an elaborate scheme over something as important as our engagement, what would she do if we faced other relationship challenges? Would she manipulate our children if we had kids together? Would she lie to me about financial decisions or career choices if she thought it
Great
would get her
story
what she
to tell
wanted?
your kids.
My family and friends are divided on whether I made the right choice. Some think I should have given Maya another chance since her intentions weren't malicious
F
and she
them.
was genuinely trying to strengthen our
F
relationship.
them.
Others agree that what she did was unforgivable manipulation that would have destroyed our trust permanently. My brother thinks I'm being too harsh and that all relationships involve some
F
level of
him.
game playing and manipulation.
F him.
He pointed out that Maya hadn't actually cheated or done anything that caused permanent damage, and he suggested
You know
that I
what?
was throwing away a good relationship over hurt pride.
Have the brother go date and marry Maya. You know? If my brother told me, I'm being too harsh or whatever, I'd be like, F you. You can have her. You can have that bitch. Her and her friends looked up stuff on psychological torture. You know what this reminds me of? Like a Mr. Beast thing, where he would have all this happen, and if at the end, after 3 weeks, who knows how much longer this would have went on if, what was it, Jessica wasn't drunk and said, oh, it's a game, he did this. Maybe it would have been longer, like a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, who knows? But it's like a Mr. Beast thing. If you do this and at the end you tell him it was a fake breakup and he's still, without us being there, we'll still have a hidden camera. If he still decides to stay in a relationship with you will give you $500,000, $250,000 each. That's what it sounds like. It's just sick. It's a sick, twisted.
My sister, on the other hand, was horrified by what Maya had done and said she couldn't imagine putting someone she loved through that kind of emotional torture. My parents were similarly split. My mom thought I should give Maya another chance because she believed people could learn from their mistakes and grow.
Mom's
she worried
cheated.
that I was being too rigid in my expectations and that I might...
Mom, she's cheated. Yeah. She cheated on Dad sometime during their marriage. I guarantee it.
regret losing someone I'd loved for 4 years. My dad, however, supported my decision and said that trust was the foundation of any successful marriage and that Maya had proven she couldn't be trusted. The reactions from our mutual friends were also mixed. Some thought I was overreacting and that the fake breakup was just a misguided attempt to improve our relationship. They pointed out that Maya's plan had actually revealed how much I cared about her and suggested that we could build on that foundation. Others were shocked by the level of deception involved and agreed that what Maya had done was manipulative and cruel.
Yes.
But I keep coming back to the same conclusion. If Maya was capable of orchestrating such an elaborate deception over something as important as our future together, how could I ever trust her again? Marriage is supposed to be built on honest communication, not psychological games designed to manipulate your partner into proposing. The most frustrating part was how many people seemed to think that because Maya's intentions were good, the means she used were acceptable. They acted like emotional manipulation was just another relationship strategy, rather than a serious violation of trust and respect. I'm now living in my own apartment and slowly rebuilding my life as a single person. It's been difficult because I genuinely loved Maya and had envisioned a future with her, but I can't marry someone who thinks manipulation is an acceptable relationship tool. The hardest part is knowing that if Maya had simply talked to me about wanting to get engaged, I probably would have proposed within the next few months anyway. Instead, her decision to create fake relationship drama ended up destroying the very relationship she was trying to strengthen. So that's my story. I ended a 4-year relationship because my girlfriend's friends convinced her to fake a breakup to test my commitment level. Everyone keeps telling me I overreacted, but I believe I dodged a bullet by discovering Maya's true character before we got married. Update. It's been 6 months since I ended things with Maya, and I wanted to provide an update because the situation has continued to evolve in unexpected ways.
Could we use your house to trial our 24-hour bathroom upgrade system? We're looking for homeowners within...
Not my bathroom.
Thanks. Maya spent the first few months after our breakup trying everything she could think of to win me back. She wrote long letters explaining how she'd realized the mistake she made and how she'd cut contact with the friends who gave her such terrible advice. She suggested couples therapy, promised to do whatever it took to rebuild trust, and even offered to sign a prenup if I was worried about her motives regarding marriage. For a while, I almost considered giving her another chance because her remorse seemed genuine and I missed what we had together. But every time I thought about forgiving her, I remembered those weeks when I was genuinely terrified of losing her while she was essentially acting out a script designed to manipulate me. About 3 months ago, I found out through mutual friends that Maya had been telling people a very different version of our story. According to her narrative, we broke up because I was commitment phobic and couldn't handle her bringing up the topic of marriage. She's been portraying herself as the victim of a man who led her on for 4 years and then abandoned her the moment she tried to discuss their future. This revisionist history bothered me more than I expected because it showed that Maya still doesn't understand why what she did was wrong. Instead of taking responsibility for the deception, she's reframed the entire situation to make herself look like the wrong party. The friends who convinced her to fake the breakup have apparently been supporting this new narrative and telling people that I was clearly never serious about the relationship if I couldn't handle a little relationship drama. They painted me as someone who was looking for an excuse to leave and used Maya's test as justification for ending things. But here's the interesting part. About a month ago, I ran into Rachel at a coffee shop, and she was surprisingly honest about what had really happened. She admitted that their friend group had been jealous of Maya's stable relationship and had subconsciously wanted to sabotage it. She said they'd all been going through breakups and divorces and couldn't stand watching Maya be happy when their own love lives were disastrous. Rachel apologized for her role in the whole mess and said she'd realized too late that their advice came from a place of bitterness rather than genuine concern for Maya's happiness.
What'd I tell you?
She warned me that Maya was still being influenced by the same toxic friend group and hadn't really learned from the experience. This conversation confirmed that I'd made the right decision by walking away. Maya's inability to take full responsibility for what happened and her willingness to let her friends rewrite history showed that she hadn't actually grown from the experience. I'm now dating someone new who I met through work, and the difference in communication styles is remarkable. When Sarah has concerns about our relationship, she brings them up directly and we talk through them like adults. The idea of creating fake drama to test each other's commitment would be completely foreign to both of us. Looking back, I realized that Maya's willingness to deceive me for weeks was probably indicative of deeper character issues that would have surfaced in other ways throughout our marriage. I'm grateful that I discovered her true nature before making a legal commitment to someone who thought manipulation was an appropriate relationship strategy. The experience taught me the importance of surrounding yourself with people who encourage honest communication rather than psychological games. It also reinforced my belief that trust, once broken through deliberate deception, is nearly impossible to fully rebuild. I don't regret my decision to end things with Maya, and I'm much happier now with someone who shares my values about honesty and direct communication in relationships. Final update. It's been over a year since the breakup with Maya, and I wanted to share one last update because there was an unexpected resolution to this whole situation. Sarah and I got engaged last month, and we're planning a wedding for next spring. When news of our engagement spread through our mutual social circles, I heard through friends that Maya was telling people she was happy for me, but that it proved she'd been right about me being ready for marriage. I just needed the right person to bring it out of me. This comment bothered me because it suggested she still didn't understand that the problem hadn't been my readiness for commitment, but rather her approach to trying to secure the commitment through deception. But the real revelation came 2 weeks ago when Maya's friend Jessica reached out to me via Facebook. She said she needed to apologize for her role in what happened and wanted to explain something that had been bothering her for months. According to Jessica, the fake breakup plan hadn't actually been Maya's friend's idea at all. Maya had come to them with the concept after reading about it in some relationship advice blog online. She'd specifically sought out friends who would support her plan rather than question whether it was a good idea. Jessica said that Maya had approached the situation very strategically, first complaining to her friends about my supposed lack of commitment, then gradually introducing the idea of creating some kind of crisis to motivate me toward proposal. She'd essentially manipulated her friends into thinking they were helping her solve a problem, when really she was just looking for accomplices in her deception. This information completely reframed my understanding of what had happened. Maya hadn't been a victim of bad advice from bitter friends.
So
she'd been the mastermind behind the entire scheme and used her friends as a support system to carry it out. Jessica apologized for not speaking up sooner but said she'd been loyal to Maya until she realized that Maya was still trying to manipulate the narrative even a year later. She said Maya had been telling people that her friends had pressured her into the fake breakup, when in reality Maya had been the one pressuring them to help her execute her plan. I thanked Jessica for her honesty and told her I appreciated her finally coming forward with the truth. Her revelation confirmed that I'd made absolutely the right decision by ending things with Maya, because someone who would orchestrate such an elaborate deception and then spend a year lying about it was clearly not someone I could have trusted as a life partner. The experience taught me valuable lessons about manipulation, trust, and the importance of honest communication in relationships. I'm incredibly grateful that I discovered Maya's true character before we got married, and I'm excited to build a life with someone who shares my values about honesty and respect in relationships. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us end up being blessings in disguise. Maya's fake breakup destroyed our relationship, but it also saved me from marrying someone who was willing to use psychological manipulation to get what she wanted. I consider it a very lucky escape.
That's the end. But that friend who said that was Maya's idea all along. No, because, I mean, she could be lying and say it was Maya's idea to take the blame off of her and her friends. But which friend said that he's seen at a coffee shop where they were jealous of Maya's relationship because they had troubles and a divorce, and I don't know who to believe. If it was Maya, the girlfriend's idea, and she's just a nut job, I don't know. I mean, either way, girls are just so evil. I mean, take the girls from mean girls and times it by 100. You gotta be careful. I mean, there's a reason why more and more men are choosing to stay single and not pursue relationships. There's reasons because of stuff like this. I mean, I heard of this whole fake, breakup thing to test men and see, what they, would they be like, oh, please don't leave, please, I love you, I'll do anything. And a lot of them have backfired. where the guy's like gets angry and fine. You want to break up, fine. And then the girlfriend ends up telling them that it's just a fake breakup, and the guy's like, no, if you're gonna try and test me with something stupid like that, we're through. But yeah, guys, if any girl comes to you and says, we need a break up with her, because that's a sign for, I want to go back to having sex with other guys. I don't want to break up with you, but I'll have you on the side, but I need to have sex with other guys again. Or there's a certain guy in particular that she wants to F or has been effing. When a girl says, I think we need a break, you say fine. How about forever? Anyways, all guys need to see this. Anyways, please like and subscribe. Like always and forever. Take care. Be safe. Peace, everyone.